In this lesson on style, we'll be talking about wordy sentences, how to identify them and how to fix them. Wordy sentences really has to do with getting rid of the clutter in writing. We want writing to be clean, we don't want it to be crisp and direct, and wordiness gets in the way of that. So first of all, what is wordiness? Wordy sentences contain many unnecessary words, and there's an emphasis there on unnecessary. Good writing is dense and concise, and the words in the sentence work hard. They mean something. So let's look at some examples here. A few inches of the snow on the ground is all that is necessary in order for a person to be able to go sledding. There's nothing grammatically incorrect about this sentence, but maybe you could hear how there's a lot going on there and there's not much information really being conveyed in this sentence. It's basically just saying sledding requires a few inches of snow. And so if we look at the bolded words here, these indicate the unnecessary phrases that have just been added as filler. They kind of act like fluff in writing and just take up space. If we get rid of those and maybe reword the sentence a little bit, we come up with, sledding requires only a few inches of snow. Now that's less than half of the original sentence. So basically the reader is doing half the work to get the same amount of information. And remember, writing is a kind of service to the reader. We want writing to challenge and inform the reader, but we don't want them to have to wade through our convoluted sentences to get there. Let's look at another example. All of the students who are new to this school are required to attend a meeting that has been scheduled for Friday, the 22nd of September. Okay. See if you can look at that sentence and identify some of the unnecessary words and phrases. What could be cut out from this and still have it make sense and retain all of the information and detail? Okay, there are some bolded phrases here that are just fluff, that add nothing to the sentence. So trimmed down version is, new students are required to attend a meeting on Friday, September 22nd. Again, about half the size of the original, but it does the same amount of work. So there's an important point to make here though, and that is the problem with wordiness is not about the quantity of words. So I don't want you to think that, there's a problem with having long sentences and that you need to somehow make them shorter. That's not what this is about. You can have a sentence with 20 words or 40 words or 60 words, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with very long sentences. The only thing is that you want the words to actually do work. And so to take a 20-word sentence and cut it down to 10 isn't necessarily improving anything. It all depends on how well those words were working in the 20-word version. So let's, for example, look at this. A bird with crimson wings glided from the jungle canopy and landed gracefully on a nearby rock. That sentence is not wordy. It has certain imagery, it contains details and information, and there's nothing wordy about it, so it would not be an improvement to just go and reduce it to something too simple. A bird flew from the trees to a rock. That's not a better sentence. Even though we've taken away words, it's not a better sentence. So make sure that when you are reducing wordiness, you are just taking out the unnecessary filler words, the fluff. So there's some phrases and constructions to avoid when looking for wordiness. We'll go over a few of these. Due to the fact that class is canceled, we will postpone the quiz. What other word can we find that basically serves that same function? Due to the fact that class is canceled. Those 5 words can be replaced with because. Because class is canceled, we will postpone the quiz. Much more direct. In spite of the fact that I am failing, I have enjoyed the class. Okay, what can that be reduced to? 5 words there in that phrase. Just say although. Although I am failing, I have enjoyed the class. I bought a dog for the purpose of providing me with companionship. Can be changed to, I bought a dog for companionship. Says the exact same thing. A couple other phrases. In the near future can be stated simply, soon. And in my own personal opinion can be stated just as effectively, or more effectively, in my opinion. And by the way, even that phrase doesn't need to be sprinkled throughout an essay. Usually essays, we understand that it is expressing the opinion of the writer, so even that phrase isn't really necessary. Let's take a look at an Abraham Lincoln quote here. In the end, when it's all said and done, it's not going to be the years that you have lived in your life that count. Instead, it's going to be all about the quality of life that has been in your years that you have lived. Okay, what I've done here is I took a really great Abraham Lincoln quote and I intentionally put wordy phrases in it. I filled it with fluff, with filler, with phrases that have no substance to them. And you can probably see them, but these are the additional wordy phrases that I added. Let's take a look at what it looks like without those phrases. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. Now, isn't that more interesting? It's direct, it's clear, it's strong, and it's not watered down with all of those unnecessary words and phrases. And that kind of exaggerates that. I'm showing you the impact that reducing wordiness has on writing. It's profound. Your readers will be able to understand your writing better and will be more moved by your writing if it has a kind of dense, high-impact phrasing, such as found in this Abraham Lincoln quote. Just before I end, I want to point out the obvious here, and that is to ask, why does wordiness happen? And there are a couple of reasons. First, our natural language is wordy. When we speak, we speak in wordy phrases because often we're searching for words and we're stalling a little bit, and so just natural speech tends to be wordy. That comes out in our writing. There's another reason though, and that is just to try and fluff up and fill a paper that we have to turn in. Maybe we've been given a word requirement. It has to be 500 words or 750 words or 1,000 words. When we're having a hard enough time getting to that word count, the last thing we want to do is go through and trim wordiness. In fact, the temptation is to go through and add as much fluff as we can without adding any substance to the paper. Let me just warn against that temptation. A teacher would much rather get a 2-page paper that is concise and clear and powerful than a 3-page paper that is watered down with fluff. So dig in. Instead of adding wordiness, dig in, add more substance to your topic, think more deeply about it, and avoid that temptation of cluttering up your paper and your writing with too many unnecessary words. You want to get in there and clean it out.